And welcome everybody to the podcast. I am your co-host Steve, always joined by.
Why did you seem startled that I started?
Because I keep hearing this crunching noise of your tune leader.
Yeah, dude, you got that cherry
I'm like,
Coke,
is he
son.
done crunching? What is he doing?
Cherry Coke is so good. Charles is here
Episode-
also drinking cherry Coke.
Episode 99, if I'm not mistaken, right? I believe so.
Yeah, we're on the eve of the big 100 episode soiree next week.
And just a little teaser for next week. We're going to have a computer roundup for everybody out there who's not bored enough listening to our technical crap. Me and Bill are going to go off about our new PCs, and everyone's going to fall asleep. But also from Illinois this week with us, as always, is BV. How you doing, Bill?
What up, what up?
Right. So we're going to start this week, and I didn't put it on the show notes. I love throwing Charles and Bill a curveball.
Oh, man. Steve's going off script.
Just when you thought 2020 can't get any weirder, we one-up ourselves. Now there's giant protests across the country for some of it, it's rightfully so, for George Floyd died wrongfully by a police.
Say his name, Steve. Say his name.
George Floyd. And they're taking their sweet old time to arrest this guy and do everything.
I thought they finally did. Did they arrest that officer?
He's been arrested and charged.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to take their sweet old time before the actual trial and everything else comes around. And in the meantime, many people across many major U.S. Cities have been protesting and rioting. Even here in Michigan, it hit us here in, I guess, it's Ann Arbor, Detroit, and Grand Rapids.
And Flint. Flint made the national news. Yeah, because the cops joined in.
Yeah. So it's been a crazy week just on top of the COVID stuff. 2020 cannot come to an end soon enough.
Steve's calling a year done in June. He's over it.
June 30th will be New Year's Eve, all right?
Dude, Steve's scrubbing a year. 2020, we're done.
2021 will be a year and a half long because 2020's got to go.
That's funny.
This is getting freaking ridiculous. Was there any riots down in Illinois, Bill, or was this thing?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it went to the point of rioting. I know that some things did get a little violent in Chicago. I think a few people got shot, one killed.
No, he said something different than usual, BB.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. If that's extraordinary.
Chicago's rough.
It's kind of business as usual here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the big news this week. Obviously, we'd be crazy to avoid it. I mean, it's everywhere. The cop did something wrong. It was terrible, but at the same time, man, burning down cities. Whew, that's a little rough, but there you go. That's the year we're living in right now. It just makes you so excited for humanity and everything else that's going around. But of course, now we're going to go back to our annual COVID talk.
What are you talking about? This is weekly COVID talk.
Yes.
COVID Live with Fat Guys in the Little Podcast.
Now, this weekend, my daughter's birthday is this weekend. Yes. Monday is her birthday, June 1st. Happy 16th birthday.
Happy birthday.
And what she wanted to do for her birthday was to go to either Novi Mall or the Great Lakes Crossing with her friends and hang out for the day at the mall. But, of course, she made these plans back in February, and pretty much the governor has screwed her out of her birthday plans. So
tell her to get in line. Honestly, I mean, my whole household. You guys are pretty much on your whole household has been screwed. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but it affects kids more than us, really. But because we don't want to leave the house to begin with, and the Great Lakes Crossing did open this week. But here's the weird thing: maybe only a handful of stores open, and you need an appointment to go to the store.
Yeah, I put this in the show notes. Okay, so I want to go to the Buckle store. How does one make an appointment to go to Buckle? That's all I'm saying.
So I guess if you're walking around the mall with your mask on, you see the Buckle store, you pull out your cell phone and call them.
So weird.
Hey, you got a 1 o'clock appointment.
Yeah, I got a 12:15 at Buckle. I got to go over there. It's so weird.
All right, we're booked up for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Can't fit me in for 10 minutes at Buckle. I need some new jeans or something. I need an Ed Hardy shirt. What am I going to do?
Well, on top of that, so all the fast food opened up in the mall, but they took all the seating out. So if you buy anything, you
just stand there. Oh, man. So there's no seating? There's no food court seating at all? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. But we have a witness. I called and talked to a witness this week Hey, David Markey. Are you familiar with his work?
I don't know. I don't know much about that guy. Anyway.
Yeah, so him and his wife and a couple others went down to the Toledo Mall.
Okay.
The one we were thinking about going to with Holly because we thought, but then we saw in the directory half of them were still closed. He said it is terrible. Any store worth going into is closed.
Oh.
And he said the fast food joints are open, but there's only like 5 tables around the outskirts. So those fill up immediately. So he goes, if you get anything, just stand there and eat. He goes, it's terrible. And he goes, nothing's open. He
You're
said it was
standing there with your Popeye sandwich eating it.
So he drove 45 minutes to be bored out of his mind. He told me, don't even bother. So, yeah, malls are open, but they're a joke of themselves. And so, again, malls are more important to my wife and Holly than they are to me.
But like again though, do you? So I'm only half in jest. Like, do you call them? Like, if I need to go to Macy's, I can't just walk into Macy's. Like, what do I do?
No. Well, first off, you don't got a mask. You're just told to leave right away.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. Like, how do you get in? Like, I literally have to call the operator. Be like, do you got $12.15 for some polo shirts? Like, what do you do?
Well, I know Best Buy, you can go to the website and make an appointment to say, like for Geek Squad or to pay your credit card bill, and they'll let you in the store at a certain time if you have the appointment. But for the most part, at Best Buy, you pull up in front, they walk out to your car. Why are you here? Oh, I had an online order. They'll bring out the online
so hospitable. Yeah. What are you doing here?
Bill and I have experienced that,
yeah.
right?
I've been at Best Buy about 4 times since we've been in lockdown for various things.
Oh, BB. BB needs them electronics during the COVID lockdown.
Gotta have something, Laura.
Yeah.
I'm watching them pocket pussies. Anyway.
Oh, Jesus. Hello. They sell those at Best Buy?
Yes, they're very. You get a discount and you get a gift card for it. Anyways, so also in the news, coming out, Disney has announced they are going to open their parks June 11th. So Disney, 84,000 people is what they say they can hold a day. They're going to cut it down to 24,000 people and let them in. And there's going to be restrictions while you're there.
Because they opened one of the Asian country ones. Didn't they open like the Shanghai Disney or something like that?
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then from what I was reading, it's going to be just like the mall. So I have an appointment with the teacups at 9:45 to go get my ride.
Yeah,
so
because like, how do you line up? You pack into those lines. It might be a good time to go, honestly, though, if you think about it, because there's so many people. Usually, only a quarter of the people might be kind of nice.
Yeah, we'll see. So that June 11th is what they're shooting for.
June 11th, you got July 11th on here.
Oh, I'm sorry, July 11th. You're right, my fault. July 11th, what they're shooting for. They're already bringing back the employees now. So remember when we said a couple of weeks back that Disney was opening in May? They actually they were just there to open up the store. I guess they got like that boardwalk, you know what I'm talking about, where all the stores are. So they opened that first and then let people from the public, downtown Disney, I think is what they call it. It's just a bunch of stores. So they tested it with that, and now the theme parks are coming back July 11th, which hopefully will send my stock back up. It's been hurting a little bit since they closed.
That's really what they're worried about is Steve's stock purchase right now.
I guarantee Disney is worrying about their stock. The CEO's there. All right. So then the other fun thing this week, besides COVID and people dying, our president is still worried about Twitter, and they fact-checked Trump this week. As you can see a Trump tweet right there. All they do is put a little link there saying, hey, check your facts if you want. If you don't believe what the president's saying, here's a link to something else. And the president had a heart attack about that. He's attacking Twitter now. He wants an executive order against social media, blah, 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 blah. So people believe it's freedom of speech. I'm a big believer of if you don't like the platform,
don't be on it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't, as we broadcast to Facebook, I don't have a personal account on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like if I'm not into it, you know what I mean? Like if you're not down with how they're into your life, then if you don't want Alexas, if you don't want an Amazon in your house, don't get an Alexa. You know what I mean? Like same kind of vibe.
And my argument is the Howard Stern effect. So Howard Stern didn't like terrestrial radio censoring him and all that stuff, so he moved to Sirius. That's my point. Me and Randy got in a little bit of an argument on this because that was my point about Trump, is take your 80 million followers, move somewhere else. Did I just disappear?
No, you're good. I stopped the sharing because I was chugging over here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, move your 80 million followers to a new platform and then go from there. But he knows he'll lose half his followers as he moves to a new platform. But I just think it's a waste of time. It's more important things to worry about than social media right now, and that's what our president does. So there you go. Vote for him, don't for him, whatever. Any thoughts, Bill?
Well, I just it's another example. I can't get over just the blatant hypocrisy of America, right? And Trump has been in the same situation over the years where he calls on free speech to justify whatever suits him at the time, and then a platform like Twitter comes out and does a fact check, and now suddenly he wants to sanction it, eliminate social media altogether. This just in, guys. First Amendment rights are for everyone, and they last whether they work for you or against you.
Yeah. Well, that's everyone.
Call it out for your own use.
It's your own agenda all the time.
Yeah, acknowledge it when it works against you too.
And everyone believes they're biased, but I don't believe that either, because you guys are familiar with Tabitha, my niece. She's very, very, very liberal. And she's had posts, and she's a nobody. She don't have, a couple hundred people following her. And she's had posts banned because of, some of the liberal stuff she's put. So I think it goes both ways.
But then let me ask the question, right? And again, who's getting their news from Twitter is what I don't understand. If you're legit style getting your news from these weird social media forums, you have bigger issues than worrying about fact checking the president at that point. You shouldn't be getting your COVID-19 from us. You shouldn't be getting your COVID-19 from Facebook. You shouldn't be getting. Yeah. It's just a weird thing, man. I don't know why people are relying on social media for their news outlets. It's a weird time. And so now these
the highest level of integrity.
What's that?
You're talking about not getting your news from us here. This is the highest level of journalism.
Yeah, dude, we only spit truth, but I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Do you guys legit style get your news from social media platforms? Am I off base here?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
Facebook is the only social media platform I even use. I don't even have a Twitter account.
Yeah,
never had.
I think I have one somewhere. I don't know what's on it though. I think I follow Mortal Kombat.
It's a weird thing.
I get my Mortal Kombat news from Twitter.
Okay, and that's okay. I think that's all right.
Yeah, so
I just think that life-saving advice and information you shouldn't get from social media. Period. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be forming your. Yeah.
So there you go. The president's fighting with social media because that's important. So now here in Michigan, we are still on lockdown. A lot of people are still pissed off. But the things that are opening up here, Soaring Eagle, all the gamblers, there's some good news for you. Go to Indian Land. All the tribal casinos.
Jesus, Steve, easy.
Reservation.
Go to Indian Land.
So Bill's got a picture of it there. Soaring Eagle, I've been there a couple times. Very nice, actually, casino. I haven't been there in a long time.
You guys got to admit this is smart. There's no doubt in my mind. There's gamblers that got that itch so bad right now. It's not even funny. Dude.
So I think it's the total 5 or 6 different casinos opening up in Michigan that are Indian run on reservations, and they don't have to technically follow the governor's law. They just shut down on their own
sovereign land, right? Isn't that the rule, BB? Isn't that how that works? Yeah.
I think they may have that argument. Yeah.
Yeah, so they are opening up, and that was this Friday.
Do you guys think that downtown and the bigger one out in Chicagoland, Illinois? Well, you're all Indian casinos by you, BB. There's no actual state run how they are in Detroit, is there? In Illinois?
Oh yeah, no, none of the ones are.
They're all Indian run.
Native American. I mean, there may be some in the state, but the ones we've got, Harrah's and Hollywood and.
Are they all closed down right now?
Oh yeah.
I wonder how long they're going to keep them closed. You know what I mean? You're talking about a huge revenue, and then you could make the argument that the lotto never stopped. You know what I mean? It's a weird gray area, I'll be honest.
Well, they'll probably use the Indian casinos as a test market. If they start seeing these Indian casinos fill up, they're like, why are we closed when we're losing money,
they're going to fill. There's no doubt in my mind. You guys have any doubt that they're not going to be packed full of people, dude?
Randy already said, me and the wife might go out there.
Yeah, dude. He's out. That is not a shock to anyone right now.
That's his hobby, is he likes to play a little video poker, so he's out. So there you go for all you gamblers out there. Go to the Indian casinos. You'll have a chance to play. At least you're in Michigan. There are other places that are open too. Now, what did you put about schools here?
Yeah, so it appears that schools are kind of winding down a little early. My daughter's workload is all but non-existent. And a lot of her subject matters, they were like last assignment, all this kind of stuff. And from what my wife, the educator, was telling me, a lot of school districts have petitioned the state to essentially like wrap things up early. So in other words, they're just basically like calling it a year. Like, you know what I mean? Like my daughter's final card marking is this Friday coming up and stuff like that. So it appears that most schools are throwing in the towel for this glorious school year a little bit early. Yeah, it seems to be the same case with you. So yeah, I would argue that most of them are pretty much done and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was kind of interesting that they're wrapping it up a little early.
I mean, it was all a joke. Not Heather's school, but Holly's district. Like I said, none of the stuff counted against her. So I still made her do it, and she gave me dirty looks. But at the same time, it was pointless anyways. So the kids trying to get a chance to raise their grade. Their chances are running out this week.
What do you guys think? The fall is going to be interesting, man, because if you can't get full class, you can't have. I guess you can because you're going to have to, but like these A team and B team of students, how can you put parents back to work if your kid only goes to school half the time? Like, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to
Thank God Holly's 16.
Yeah, you can say, like, take your ass home and just chill out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, but if you got a kid, like we're going to have to pinch hit like in-laws and dad and stuff like that in there to help, because if Lorna's only in school half the time and Heather's there full time, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like it's going to get sketchy in the fall, because it looks like Heather was telling me that Belleville schools, one of her fellow teachers had a kid in Belleville schools. They already hit them up like, hey, if you want to go 100% online with your kids, we're taking volunteers to do it. So I don't know, man. Like, it's going to get interesting in the fall. I just hope for a vaccine, man. It is. I got all fingers, toes crossed. I don't know what the world's going to do.
Tyler's telling me that the football for Annapolis is going to start practicing next week.
How is that even possible? Like, how can you do that?
I don't know.
The first parent that gets wind of that, dude. Oh my God, that is.
Yeah, they're starting up next week.
I mean, so, I get return to normal, but dude, I don't know, Jim Harbaugh.
Well, that seems early, anyways. Didn't most football back in our day didn't start?
You could do conditioning. No, you do conditioning.
Yeah. It used to be, at least at state law, was that you couldn't start formal practices until the first week of August.
We had captain's practices early summer doing conditioning and stuff like that. I remember.
Yeah, but those are informal, right?
Yeah,
voluntary. All right, so there we go. That's a little COVID talk this week. Hopefully it'll start dwindling down and we can just talk about nonsense like we usually do. And maybe the riots will subside, so we don't want to talk about that either.
Hopefully.
But let's talk about a little positive, Charles. The space
shuttle. Did you guys happen to catch this at all? So at 3:20, oh, you didn't see it? How about you, BB? Did you check it out on Discovery at all?
I saw the highlights.
I got to tell you, man, super compelling TV because, man, they haven't... So... SpaceX at 3:20 p.m. on Saturday launched they scrubbed it from earlier in the week that they were going to. This is the first time in 10 years that NASA, in conjunction with Elon Musk's SpaceX, they launched a manned shuttle or rocket into. Steve, they had great coverage, man. You had booster cameras, you had cameras and multiple cockpit cameras. It was like you were flying with these dudes, man. And like the whole time I'm nervous for them, you know what I mean? Like here's like this like weird like one-off shuttle that you saw they had some issues with in testing, and here's two dudes that decided to be cowboys and go and do it. Man, it was great TV. I gotta tell you, man, I was super compelled to just see that Elon Musk and that weird like Edison kind of way that he has like this weird view of the world and stuff like that, and to see his stuff come. I couldn't get enough of it, guys. It was super good, man. They're doing like 17,000 kilometers an hour on this rocket. Dude, it's crazy. It was super good, man. But yeah, so they launched the first time in 10 years. Trump was all over it. Trump was in Cape Canaveral looking like, because Elon's his boy now, because Elon was pissed that they shut, Tesla down and all that kind of stuff. So he kind of came out against all these lockdowns and stuff. So now him and Elon are like best friends, which is weird to say. But and then there was a weird Kelly Clarkson Zoom like national anthem that happened, which was kind of funny. Like imagine they put like BV in the corner and he sung like the national anthem. It was really kind of odd. Yeah, it was funny.
Why couldn't she just go on the stage by herself and sing?
They're in lockdown, Steve. I don't know. And, Florida's crazy, but she probably lives in California, I'm assuming. She does a daytime talk show or something. So I don't know. It was super weird. The only other thing that was a bummer. So the big thing with this SpaceX shuttle, and again, I don't want to bore the Bergerons of the world who just, want to listen to us talk about like Netflix movies, but the stage one of the rocket is typically something that just blows apart and kind of falls to Earth, and then they can't recover it. So the big thing with this SpaceX version of the shuttle, they basically allow it to recover itself. It kind of drones back down to Earth onto a platform. And man, I was watching this, and they were showing it kind of come back down because again, there's cameras all over it and stuff. The only problem was like the camera feed cut out. I wanted to see the sucker like land on the aircraft carrier, and it didn't do it because they were like oddly like cut the camera. I was super bummed by that. But other than that, man, super cool thing, man. I was way into it. I still keep trying to see the International Space Station with my telescope and stuff like that because I'm just, as I get older, I'm super interested in that stuff, and it just, my inner nerd just kind of digs it. I really am enjoying it. So
I mean,
sorry. Can you get it all like close with your telescope?
The space station? Yeah, I mean, you should see. I got a pretty wicked nice telescope that I bought. I never talked about it on the podcast or anything like that, but yeah, I bought a crazy telescope that I bought when Lorna, just to get her, especially being a daughter and all that kind of stuff. I push a lot of STEM stuff. I really do. I do believe that like a lot of girls kind of shy away from that. So I push a lot of science and math and all that. And I want Lorna to kind of be into the world around. Because, again, as I get older and the nerdier I get, the older I get, I find it super interesting. I don't know. I'm sure Steve can agree. Like, you're just like, when I've seen, like, Venus, like a full planet, like, you're just like, holy shit, like, that's a planet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a light in the sky. You can see, like, the striations of the atmosphere and stuff like that. That stuff just totally gets my nerd bone going. I gotta be honest with you. It's super cool. And there's a handful of apps that allow you to kind of point it at the night sky, and with the GPS of your phone, it will identify markers of what things are. I just have never been able to catch the space station. Like, it's always on the opposite side of the Earth and stuff like that. But I've been trying to catch it. And it's just, it's something, like I said, as I get older, I'm just super compelled by it.
So there seems to be two camps when it comes to the space stuff. There's the camp that's for it and wants to go against it, and then there's the other camp that feels like it's a giant waste of money. NASA, the space stuff. We need to take care of stuff here on Earth before we go out into space. Charles, obviously, I think I know what camp you fall into.
Yeah,
I'm with Charles. I think it drives innovation. It drives, curiosity. It drives people to want to learn the sciences. Bill, what are your thoughts? Do you think we should be going out into space, or is it a waste of time and money?
Well, actually, other than the fact that that Elon Musk, every time I see him, he makes me a little nervous. He looks a little bit too much like an old school Bond villain.
Yeah.
He wants to go to space for some crazy plot to take over the world. But I'm kind of in the middle, and to be honest with you, this is where the whole SpaceX thing I think helps the equation, because I think the more private money that you can get into developing it, the better it is for everybody. I don't know, like particularly in a time like today, I don't know that I would support putting trillions and trillions of dollars into a space program that the government, solely funds. But if they can continue to get these, collaborations where they're getting private, influence and resources to be able to help further it, then yeah, it's good for everybody.
So there you go. Because Michelle's strongly against it. She don't think we should go into space. She thinks it's kind of a waste of time and money.
Okay.
But I like it. I think it, like I said, it drives innovation, drives curiosity, drives the sciences.
I think that if you don't pour money into the sciences, I think that money funneling into science as a general term is a good thing because it can also, to Steve's point, kind of be applied to other areas. So if you have some of the brightest minds who are intrigued by science in one area, it's entirely possible that it feeds to other areas. And, you know, you guys know how I stand on, like, you know, climate change and all that kind of stuff. I think that science is incredibly important. I don't think that, like, especially when it comes to the coronavirus, we can pray it away and all that kind of stuff. Like, you need huge minds in the world of science. I'm not a religious guy, as we all know, but, like, I just think that it's just, you got to keep the world's smartest minds need to go into those arenas. And the more you feed into it and the more that you get these pioneers, and I call Elon Musk a pioneer because of his ideology on so much stuff. He doesn't necessarily come up with original ideas, but he definitely is pushing the envelope in a lot of arenas. And I applaud him for everything he does. I love it.
I just got a news brief from my wife, actually. So, yeah, what riots now are starting to break out in Walmarts?
What? Why?
Walmart stores are starting to close due to the fact that they're now moving protests and riots to the stores to catch people's attention.
Wow.
Like
a weird grassroots thing.
East Peoria, Tampa Bay, some of Virginia. So there you go. Breaking news. Like
PV got it up there. Yeah, that's crazy.
I thought it was odd, too, that because this morning, a little news blip that popped on was something like 6 or 7 Target stores in Chicago were shutting down temporarily. And I thought, well, okay, they're just trying to preempt looting.
Yeah, but no, it's a new movement now. So first they tried blocking traffic, then burning buildings, and now straight going into a Walmart rioting. So, yeah, that's okay. So this is the world we live in now. We can go to space and we can blow up a Walmart.
Do you think that this is, and let me ask a question on the riots and stuff like that too. Do you guys think it's just such a volatile situation because we're in, like, in other words, it's just a culmination of, like, all this lockdown stuff on top of the police brutality stuff and on top of how they treat black men, and, you know.
Yeah, it's a brew. It's a brew of all things.
Yeah, just boiling, right? Yeah, just that pots can only hold so much bubbling, you know.
Yeah, then the head orange idiot in charge probably doesn't help it any.
Yeah, also true. Jeez.
Yeah, so. Well, there you go. There's a look at, well, we can go to space, or we can sit here and close our Walmart.
Yeah, wow.
Either or. Right now, I want to go to the Walmart on the space station. I'm out. I'll see you later.
I gotta tell you, man.
Maybe they won't close them. All right, so before we go into some reviews, I told the guys beforehand, a impromptu taste testing. Bill and Charles are both huge fans of Swedish Fish, and Holly got this today. This is Swedish Fish Tails, so it's 2 flavors in one.
It's like a Starburst Duo. I like a Starburst Duo with the 2 flavors smashed together.
Yeah. So let's pull one out. As you can see.
Where'd you pick those up at? Where'd you pick them up at?
I don't know, because Holly got these from her friend from her birthday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
and you just commandeered them like I'm not...
Yeah, it's like, I know the 2 guys that like Swedish Fish.
Yeah, that's funny.
Bill was over here one time playing cards. I think me and him ate a 5-pound bag of Swedish Fish.
Swedish Fish have got that perfect amount of gumminess to them. They're delicious.
Oh, they're really, really good. Charles one got me started on them.
Okay, I'm your pusher. All right.
No, I didn't know anything about them, and you used to be all over them.
Oh, I love Swedish Fish. Still am all over them, honestly.
Then I started eating.
Yeah.
And then,
they're really good.
Quick odd stat: it's also vegan.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Well,
like Oreos.
The one I ate
Oreos
was,
are vegan?
Yellow.
Yeah.
That cream's got nothing? Wow.
So the yellow and red one is raspberry and mango, and it was pretty good. And then the other one, the blue and red, is blueberry, raspberry, and strawberry. And then the green and red is watermelon and pineapple. I don't think I like the watermelon one. I'm not a big fan of watermelon, but pretty good. But here's the trick, though. Oh. I looked at this, 23 grams of sugar. A Reese's cup only has 14 grams.
Wow.
Wow. What did you expect?
Well, at least around a Reese's cup, maybe 14 grams.
What's a serving, though? What's a serving?
5 pieces.
Oh, dang.
So these are little sugar packed fish.
Yeah, dude.
I'll
give it
Mango Tango.
If you're a big fan of Swedish fish, try these out. I think you'll like them. Tails, Swedish fish tails, 2 flavors in one. Pretty good.
And I would give a huge thumbs up to all things Swedish fish, as would BV.
Yeah, I'm talking to 2. Now, Michelle or Holly also got these gummy bears with juice in them. Have you tried those, Charles?
No, who makes them? I got a weird hard on. It's got to be Albanese. I got a weird.
Your gummy bears.
If it's a Black Forest or a Haribo, you can get the hell away from me. Who makes it?
Yeah, Haribos are funky.
Haribos are too tough, man.
These are like that old school gum with the juice in them. The yellow ones aren't lemon; they're actually pineapple.
Oh,
delicious.
That's good,
though. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big lemon fan when it comes to.
I like
Which
lemon.
ones were the gums with the juice in them? I can't remember.
Here they are, right here.
That's Black Forest. I don't know. Albanese are
Charles,
better.
He doesn't like Black Forest, but
What?
Albanese
good,
gummies are good.
He doesn't like the fruit cider?
For the record, these have 18 grams of sugar, so they're
Oh.
actually better than the Swedish fish.
Eventually,
But
they
they
taste
have
good, though, honestly.
Cherry, apple, strawberry, and pineapple. I thought they were good. I'm not a big gummy bear fan, but I'm not an elitist like Charles. So,
Yeah.
Here, take
Dude, I told you, I ordered directly from Albanese that time. I bought pounds of gummy bears, dude. I bought 15 pounds of gummy bears from directly
You buy
from.
like it was a commodity.
Dude, they came in like an industrial ball pack.
Charles got his gummy bears coming in on a forklift.
Dude,
just drop
it's
it around
so
back.
good, man.
Is that gummy bear bouillon?
Dude, I had a freaking box coming from Albanese. It's so good.
I'm not a gummy fan, but those are pretty good with the little juice. And the pineapple one I really liked. I tried one of those. So.
You're like Heather.
There
You're
you
more
go.
of a chocolate person. I'm more of a candy person. Yeah.
These 2 candies, it would be right up your alley.
Yeah.
They're here. So I was
BB,
like,
you
all
a
right.
chocolate or a candy person? What do you got? If you had to eat one candy for the rest of your life, BB, what do you got?
Pussy.
Hello. Jesus.
Honestly, one candy, the rest of it probably Swedish fish.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I'd probably be sweet tarts. Love me some sweet tarts.
I might eat nerds for the rest of my life, actually. Or like a good Starburst.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say maybe Starburst.
Yeah, like a good
Skittles.
flavor. Not like the ones that sat on the shelf for too long and get all hard and gross. Anyway, that's your fat kid moment.
Bill's
All
the
right,
one-
so there's your taste test. We got to tell us what kind of candies we like, so there we go. Now this week we're going to start off. I only saw 3 things. Charles saw 1. Bill saw a stand-up. First up, it came out this week. Mortal Kombat Aftermath. It's an expansion on Mortal Kombat. It's got a story mode. You get 3 new characters. You get friendships. They had 3 new stages. I had a lot of stuff, but the price tag's a little steep. It was $40 for a game that came out a year and a half ago already. You're paying another $40 on top of it. Plus, you paid $30 for the battle pass when it came out for the.
So
other
you
thing.
could be all in $130 on this game, dude.
Yeah.
Oof.
And me being a chump, I am.
Oh, wow. Damn, son.
But it's not all at once, so you stretch it out.
Oh, yeah, you made payments on your Mortal Kombat game.
Yo, bro, I gotta hit that payment.
Dude,
on
oh my
that
God, dude. Steve's, I'm putting a little something on it every month, getting that Mortal Kombat DLC.
If this Aftermath DLC was $20, I would tell you hands down it's the best DLC
Because
I've ever.
hold on though. So what did you got the RoboCop skin or the playable character with it? That's huge, right?
RoboCop, Shiva, and Fujin. Fujin is the worst one. He's like this god character. He sucks. Shiva's like a female Goro.
Oh, okay.
And then RoboCop is RoboCop. Everyone knows that one.
But it's like
And
a legit like Peter Weller RoboCop, right? It's
Yeah,
all
it's his
it's all
voice.
CG'd up and everything. Yeah. Super cool.
The story, it takes place right after the story. It's in the game. It's about 3 hours long to get through. It basically takes place with Shang Tsung, Fujin, and the wolf guy, Night Wolf. It's one of those time traveling storylines. They go back in time to get a MacGuffin to help stop the evil person, whatever. And they have to do an unlikely alliance with Shang Tsung. That's good. It's one of the better fighting game stories. I mean, Street Fighter one makes no damn sense whatsoever.
I like how
But at
Steve's
least-
justifying his $40 purchase.
No, I'm not just
Super
I'm not
good
just
story,
buying
BV. It's compelling. Many layers to the onion.
Oh,
It's
he's all,
$40.
give me some Sub-Zero, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It just, oh my god, just added so much breath to the character. It's unbelievable.
Well, I said clearly in the beginning it was $20 to be the greatest. And at $40, it's
That's
hard.
a
to
lot of
recommend.
cabbage,
Straight up
man.
fiend.
I know.
Steve just needs that content, son.
I do.
So there's no way to get the RoboCop character short of this pack. You have to get this pack.
Right now, he's part of that pack.
Oh.
There's rumor that in July they'll start selling him individually, but you got to
Couldn't
wait
wait till July.
Not Steve.
Not me.
Got that itch, son. Need that content.
So, but RoboCop's really Charles. You'd love RoboCop. He even makes those little like noises. He makes in
Yeah,
the
I've
movie.
seen some video online. I saw some giant bomb head, and I had to check it out. He's got the piercing thing. It's super good.
He's got that big gun that's in the movie. It drops down.
dude.
you
It's
shoot
super
people.
good. Yeah, I admit.
His fatality's pretty cool. He blows a hand off like he did in the movie. He got his hand blown off. And I mean, RoboCop's really good. Shiva's really good. She's really easy to use her moves and stuff. Like I said, the only one I didn't like was that Fujin guy. He kind of sucked. I don't know.
Kind of generic or something, or
Yeah, his moves aren't. He's like one of those really quick characters that don't take a lot of damage off. So you got to do a lot of combos with him.
very
And I'm
busy.
not a
Very
combo-
busy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of a just pound him out real quick and like RoboCop. That move with that big gun takes like a quarter of the power off if you're gonna hit it. So I like RoboCop a lot.
I tell you what, people love. Mortal Kombat has really hit a stride in like the past 3 or 4 iterations. They've done a really
Yeah.
good job of bringing out great content, great characters. People are way hyped on these new Mortal Kombat games. They are like the de facto fighting games, I'd argue.
Yeah, but they're gonna rape you if you want all the content. That's the only thing that sucks. They charge you to the ass, and I'm a fish, hook, line, and sinker. So yeah, hey, my money. But as it is, if it was $20, I'd give this a 9 probably. But at $40, I gotta give it like a 7.
So let me ask the
you know?
question: if BV were tonight, be like, I'm gonna pick up these sticks and get some Mortal Kombat action. Steve was talking about. How much is he all in to get all the content you've gotten up to this date?
Well, he can buy. There's a complete edition with all the previous stuff and what I've already bought for $60, and then 40 on top of this. All he'd be
So
only
he'd be
100.
$30 cheaper than you. is what
Yeah,
you're
he'd be $30. He'd be saving $30 if he got it now. Well, not that, as you can tell, Bill's on the edge of the seat, ready to go buy it right now.
Those games are beautiful, though. I'm telling you, man. People love them. Steve's
them
not
and
the
those
only
is just-
sucker. They put it at $40. They know people can buy that shit, dude. They know it. That Terminator DLC that came out and everything. These games are good.
And you can check our YouTube. I did put up some gameplay of the story. I didn't put up any of RoboCop yet, but I'll get there on that one. So there is a little bit. The only problem with the story is it is a lot of cutscenes, but I'm a big, as everyone knows on this podcast, I'm a huge animation fan, so I'm more than happy to sit there and watch it.
BV had no idea until just today. Did you know Steve was an animation fan, BV?
I never got. Shocking.
So, if you could pick up the DLC for $20, it's a 9. If you have to pay $40, it's like a 7. The price is what really brings it down, not the content, which is kind of sad. That's just Warner Brothers being greedy, but what can you do? That's gaming, modern gaming now. So, but anyways, big thumbs up if you have the money and burn it. Now this next one, did anyone see this besides me? Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm not into this story. It's all over the place, and I'm not that compelled by it. I know that he's got a bunch of ties to a bunch of famous people, and he did some dirt and all that. I'm not into it.
All right. Give me a minute here.
Oh.
So going into this, first off, it's 4 hours long. It's 4 episodes, hour each. This is Jeffrey
How long
Epstein.
should it be, Steve? Before we
That's 2.5 hours too long.
How long should
Yes,
it be?
it was too long. Guaranteed that one.
Steve gets you
But-
36 minutes. Go.
Yeah. So going into it, I didn't like you. I don't know a lot. I know he did with little girls. I know he was. So going into this, I wanted to see his connection to the celebrities / powerful people they say he had connections to. I wanted to see how he got his money, and then I wanted to see exactly what he did and how he died. Like if they're going to cover the controversy behind his death. And this documentary,
Because the controversy, not whatever, but the controversy as I know it is that he was whacked because of how many celebrities and powerful people he knows dirt on. Is
Yes.
everyone in agreement that that's the theory, right? Yeah.
Yes.
My understanding.
Yeah, and they only touched a little bit on that in the last episode, which is a bummer. But so it's 4 episodes. First episode is all victims, female victims, and stuff like that. And the one thing, there's some things I learned about this podcast. 1, our justice system is slow as ass. 2, he has a girlfriend that was like his madam that helped him, that for some reason is still just walking around to this day and no one's touching her. And 3, there's still some cloud around how he died. So the first episode it's basically victim after victim after victim telling their story for about 10 minutes each. And the problem is, and this is where I'm telling you it's too long, is every victim story is kind of the same. He has the same MO. He gets them in there. He makes them massage them for $200. He goes after girls down on their luck. And then eventually he flips over and then, hey, and then his girlfriend sometimes joins him. So it's like 3 ways. Gives the girl $200. She takes off. And then for some reason, half of them came back and did it again like a week later. So
he's Robert Kraft, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. But all the girls are 14, 15 years old.
Okay. So he's Robert Kraft, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
He's like the mishmash of R. Kelly.
Yeah, basically. So, but that's what made it drag on, because they did like 9 different girls' stories for the first 2 episodes, and even Michelle's like, "We get it. Can we go on?" They could have showed a couple stories and then just showed the girls that he did it to. But that's beside the point. That's Steve saying. So then they go into how he made his money, and this I thought was interesting. So he lied on his resume. He has no college, by the way. He went to college for a year and dropped out. He lied on his resume to become a professor at a university in New York. Just said he had degrees and stuff, and they hired him for a year.
They never vetted him for any of that info or nothing?
No, nothing. This is probably early 80s, late 70s at this point. And he worked there for a year. Then he gets into a Wall Street job. I don't remember the name of the company. And they find out he's lied on all his resumes. And he still cons his way into staying there. So he's there for a year or 2. Eventually he does something and gets fired. And he goes into a Ponzi scheme with this other guy at this other company somewhere in New York. They literally say he makes $476 million doing this Ponzi scheme.
Jeez.
And then the guy he worked with got arrested and put in jail. He never got touched. He got away with all the money. But while he's doing that, he becomes friends with this guy named Les Wexner. I don't know how many people know who that is. This is an older man. He owns Victoria's Secrets, like 5 different women's clothing lines, and he's worth billions of dollars. And his headquarters is in Ohio. So he's going to Ohio, and he swindles this guy out of like $1 billion. So he's got $476 million and $1 billion. That's how he makes his money.
Jesus.
And they also said that he might have been romantically linked to this Les Wexler guy, that they might be having sex or whatever, but they never really come through. So then in the 90s, they take 2 of the girls they find.
I feel like you paid more attention to this than Tiger King, which is funny to me. It makes no sense.
I was curious how this
He can go into explicit details about like this random rich guy, but okay, go ahead.
He may have been sucking him up.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Meanwhile, Tiger King was like, yeah, so anyway, 2 gay guys own tigers, whatever. Give me. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
I don't know. For $1 billion, I would have fucked him.
There's that too. So anyway, we're with Victoria's Secret guy. We're banging him. Continue.
Yeah, he gets 2 young girls to go to Ohio with him and his girlfriend. That's where he does his first crime. This is 96, 2 young girls. They try to report it. They're from New York. They try to report it to the New York police. New York police tell them they can't do nothing. It happened in Ohio. So they report it to the FBI in 1996, and the FBI just kind of blows them off. That's our justice system right there. So then he moves to Palm Beach now that he's got all this money in the early 2000s. This is where he becomes friends with Trump. He becomes friends with all these rich people. He starts with all these people. So as he's friends with them, he has a network of girls at the local high schools. He gets one, does what he does at the massage thing, and then tells her, hey, you bring a friend, they'll get $200 and I'll give you $200. So he starts a pyramid scheme of pedophile feeling up. And then all these girls start recruiting more girls. So it's just like hundreds of girls he's done this to over the years. So and that's essentially it. And then the Palm Beach police start catching wind of it. They're trying to bust him, and they hand it over to the FBI. And this is where it's funny, because the FBI takes it. They have everything on this guy. It's 2006. They're going to bust him. the lead attorney of the FBI. You guys might know. Bill might know this name, Alexander Acosta. Yeah, he's a district attorney or something like that. He gives Jeffrey Epstein a sweet deal where he's like arrested to his house for 13 months. And that's it. That's all that happens to him. That's the first time. That
Did he even have to register as a sex offender?
Yeah, he did have to register as a sex offender, but it still didn't matter. And all those rich people and stuff were still friends with him even after all this happened. So then he also has an island where he takes young girls and rapes them, and that's when he brings his celebrity friends with him out to this island. Number one, Prince Andrew from England, the Duke of York. They've got pictures of him with girls on this island and stuff, doing young girls like 15. I guess in England, he went and did an interview, said he never met him, even though there's pictures. And Bill Clinton's name is on the flight manifesto 26 times going to that island.
Oh, boy.
And then a guy that worked there, he's like an IT guy that worked on that island, saw Bill Clinton sit. He never saw her with a girl, but he saw him many times at the island. So then years later, they asked Bill Clinton, him and Trump. I don't really know him. I don't know. Trump's got pictures with him and all this other stuff. So then it goes to the fast forward to 2019. Now the FBI, guess where Acosta went to go work, by the way? The Trump administration in the White House is where he ended up going to work. I forget what he was. I don't know what
Did he
it
get
was.
fired 2 weeks later?
He resigned because all the pressure from the Jeffrey Epstein stuff started showing up. They were asking him why he gave him such a sweet deal and all that, so he resigned. Yeah. So I just thought that was funny how it was tied in. And then he ended up hanging himself in prison, like you've heard. His brother had an autopsy. They brought the autopsy guy out, and he said there's no way the bones that broke, there's no way he could have hung himself. Someone must have done the pressure to him to kill him. So I thought that was interesting. But that's all they say. They never go into any of the who might have been interested in killing him and stuff like that. And they said his house was loaded with video cameras. He had videotapes of all different kinds of people, all kinds of child porn, all kinds of pedophilia stuff. So, and that's a look at Jeffrey Epstein. It was interesting. Too long though.
It sounds like you were compelled to shit. You just did a book report for 45 minutes about it. I don't know. How are you going to go like, yeah, I wasn't that into it. Meanwhile, you went beat for beat.
Yeah. Taking notes.
Well, I just watched it.
Dude, what
I wrote the names down just because I didn't want
Oh
to
my God. He has his iPad out like I'm like going through. Meanwhile, he's like, I'll give it like a 4. Like, what the fuck?
No, it gets about a 7.
No, man.
When they first announced this documentary, I was wondering right off the bat what percentage of people that saw it were going to view it just to see if they could get additional ammunition against the Clinton family.
Oh yeah,
the conspiracy that the Clintons may have had something to do with him dying.
They never say that, but they do show that they signed a lot of stuff to go to that island, and that's all they ever really say about Clintons. Nothing else really. They actually talk about Trump more than Clintons in this. Like how much he hung around Trump and stuff. And there was a quote with Trump in Variety about how he liked Jeffrey Epstein, but he always had young girls around him and stuff like that, which was true, I guess.
So what is okay? So you've watched this now, Steve. What is Steve's opinion based on nothing other than what you just saw about what happened and what was going on? What is the Steve theory after? Give us what really went down in your opinion.
Steve's theory is he ran a ring of young girls. And he brought a lot of celebrity and powerful people to his little island and had parties and said, hey, do whatever you want to any of these girls. And his girlfriend helped him get them there. And in the end, once he got caught and finally busted by the FBI, all his house was filled with evidence. And then they said, he's got to go. I think it's the dude from England. Their influence had him. Either a guard or something got paid off that went and killed him. Only because the autopsy guy is very in depth on how it's almost impossible for those bones that broke in his neck to break on your own. So that's the only reason I believe someone killed him. I don't think it was the Clintons, and I don't think it might have been that Prince Andrew guy though. He had an interview that Prince Andrew guy said, I have a condition where I can't sweat, because one of the girls that accused him said he was sweating on her, and he goes, I can't sweat. Who has a non-sweating condition?
My pores are clogged. How dare you?
I just pant.
My pores will not secrete.
Now, would I watch it again? No. It was interesting. It's okay. So that was 7.
You don't need to watch it again. You've got it all memorized.
yeah, that's true. I was curious about the whole story, and I just find it funny because here's some of the celebrities that were tied to him: Woody Allen, Kevin Spacey, Clinton's, Trump. It's not the most high end.
Not the most high end. You just named 2 U.S. presidents. Not the most high end. More of dirtbags. You know what I mean?
I meant
the most upstanding people.
High moral standing. Yes, that's what I meant.
That's funny.
All I know is you just detailed that like it was a freaking animated freaking DC comic.
Well, I just watched the end of it yesterday, so it's pretty still fresh in my head.
I don't know.
So I don't know.
Nice part is if you listen to the show, you don't got to watch that shit. Now Steve just told you.
That's the most vivid explanation of anything on TV that you've explained that wasn't like a comic.
Took us 99 episodes for Steve to just bang some.
I don't know.
Minute 22 of episode 3.
Wow.
But it was a little compelling. Again, a little long though. And I'm giving you the cliff notes. It's a lot longer. But like I said, the girlfriend's just out there to this day. She's just hanging out. No one's ever charged her with anything, which is kind of amazing. But
so do you think that the two presidents? Sorry to cut you off, but do you think the two presidents were up there getting it on with underage kids?
At that, well,
the
Trump,
pause says it all. That's a yes. He wants to bang his daughter. You know what I mean?
I think Clinton did, but Trump was never. There's no record of him being on the island. That's the only difference, though. There's plenty of record of Bill Clinton, no record of Trump being on the island. So they might have done it at Mar-a-Lago. Well, what is the name of that? I can't even say. Trump's place. They've been there a lot, so I don't know. But a lot of shady stuff. And that Prince of York was at the island many times, too. So, I don't know. There you go. Jeffrey Epstein. That'll help fuel all the conspiracy theorists out there. So, and then the next thing, so we watched all that, and I wanted to laugh, and I got some high expectations up. And it's Steve Carrel and a guy that helped create The Office, I believe, was
Greg
part of it
Daniels.
Too. Yeah. They came out with a new show called Space Force. And Charles, what did you think?
Yeah, so first of all, Netflix gave them a ton of money to do this. The budget on this show is incredible. I only watched the first episode. Me and Heather watched it because we're a big Office fan. I like Steve Carell. It starts out with him being promoted to a 4-star general in charge of Space Force. And that's kind of, and so then, at least in the first episode, Steve watched more of the episodes than I did. First of all, Steve Carell's putting on an annoying voice. The thing that I didn't realize that I needed in those like Office Parks, I need that weird ensemble cast that's kind of in the same vicinity all the time. He doesn't have that really. Also, Lisa Kudrow's in jail, who plays his wife. She looked really bad in the first episode, and then when she came into jail, I was just like, "Oh, Lisa Kudrow."
What's wrong with her face?
I don't know. She's not aging gracefully. I don't know.
I think she had some work, but weird work.
It's weird. I don't know what's going on. I gotta tell you, Steve. Me and Heather watched that first episode. You watched all 10. You banged out the season. I'm not going back. I'm done. You have a different take on it? I don't.
Well, I went in like Charles with high expectations, like Office, Parks and Rec. All right, let's get some funny. And then once I watched that first episode, I got to readjust my standards.
Yeah,
I know this is not going to be.
Did you see what I was talking about with the budget on that show too?
Yeah,
I mean, it is unbelievable. Netflix put out some coin.
There's moments in it, and you didn't make it through a lot of it that are funny, but nothing's ever like Office or Parks and Rec level fun. Nothing. Yeah. I'm going to say that right now. And I feel like a lot of it is miscast. Like John Malkovich,
plays like a civilian contractor who's like a weird eccentric genius about rocketry.
But they told him not to be funny at all. I don't understand that. Like in The Office, he had Dwight Schrute or Rainn Wilson, or that guy to play off of, who's very funny. And John Malkovich is a serious guy, and the Chinese guy off of
Jin Yang,
Jin Yang. They made him sit. So you took two guys who can be funny and made them the straight man. I don't. So some of the casting and some of the acting choices were weird. I didn't quite get that. His daughter was annoying. Lisa Kudrow's face. I couldn't.
Why is she in jail? Do they go into it?
Never explain it.
Oh, come back and figure it out. I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, I just don't care. Oh, the show's bad. Bad show.
I liked them when they were in that room with Jane Lynch and
the other generals.
Yeah, that was funny.
Because you had like a weird ensembleness to it at that point.
Yeah, and those guys were funny. But the main
they're ripping on the Coast Guard guy and stuff like that.
Yeah. hilarious. And then they leave that and go into the non-funny part.
And he's running around this campus trying to do. The funny part was like the weird interaction with like the administrative assistant guy who kept to not telling him. I thought that was kind of funny, but like, it did not save the show. Like, this is a solid 4 out of 10, dude. This is bad for me. I don't like it.
You missed some funny parts. Like, there's a part where there's a space chimp that they're trying to get to fix the satellite. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw him rip it apart and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that one was kind of funny. So there's moments here and there. I feel like it really just needs to be tweaked, maybe recasted a little bit, and then if you're going to keep Malkovich, tell him to be funny. Because he was, even through the end of the season, he wasn't funny. I don't know what the hell happened there. So I would give it a 5. I'm not much higher than Charles, but I made it to the
And you watched the whole season, yeah.
And they ended on a cliffhanger at the end of the last season.
I don't care.
So
I'm not going back.
Every great even if you remember King of Queens, he had that one friend, and I think he had a sister-in-law that disappeared by season 2, and they adjusted. So they got to really do that with this show, and if they don't, then it's probably just going to be canceled.
It's got to be expensive. I mean, I keep going back to it. I was just shocked by like the budget. Is the helicopter girl going to be a big deal throughout the whole thing? It seemed
she ends up on the moon. They send her.
Great.
Yeah. So and here's a weird thing too. So it looks like you're supposed to try to spoof Space Force, and it's a real joke. But then there's moments throughout the series where they take it very seriously.
Yeah, it's weird. Tonally, it's a little weird. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Either you're goofing on it, or you really you can't be in the middle, I guess. They didn't pick a side, and it was kind of weird.
And all the while, like, Steve Carrel developed this, like, weird, I'm a general, 4-star general, like, tones. I'm gonna, like, gritty Steve Carell's just weird. This show's bad.
Michelle noticed that, too. She goes, why is he talking weird?
Yeah.
I go, I don't know.
Just be Steve Carell, dude. Everyone loves you, Steve Carell. Like, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think season 2 needs a lot of adjustments and rewriting, and it might be a little better. But as it stands, Charles gives it a 4. I give it a 5. If it wasn't for my love for Steve Carell, I probably wouldn't have watched all 10 episodes. Well, I liked a lot of the actors in that show. It's like, what happened? Know, I don't. Did you ever see the movies Red with Bruce Willis?
I know of it with Helen Mirren and all that. Yeah.
John Malkovich is hilarious in those movies. He's like this eccentric dude. He's really funny. And this, it's like they told him, forget whatever you know how to be funny. Don't do it.
Jeez.
So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. So, Bill, you didn't watch Space Force at all?
No, it's not my kind of show. But
he won this week.
Yeah. All right. So there's Space Force. I got hopes for second season. Charles ain't even going to watch the rest of the first season.
Done.
So I'll let him know if the second season gets any better. Something tells me it won't, but maybe we'll get lucky. Now, which one of you watched History 101?
I tell you what, I check this out. So BV has said in the past how BV can typically go down a YouTube rabbit hole, as we call it, where like you end up going from YouTube video to YouTube video to YouTube video. So imagine Netflix started out to do half hour like history lessons on certain subjects. So like the first episode was on fast food, and they explain this is really good. So like it's perfect for like that weird 25 minutes. One of the other episodes was about like the space race, and then like all the stuff leading up to the SpaceX stuff, which probably led into like my overabundantly love for the SpaceX stuff this week. It just explained to you like how we went against the Russians and all. And like as Americans, we tend to have a lot of blind spots to a lot of like history stuff and all that kind of stuff. This show is great. They also had an episode on plastic. What I find so good about this show is, so the episode on plastic, not only do they address the climate change impact that plastic has, they also tell you that like plastic has saved millions and countless amounts of lives. You know what I mean? Like they do a good job of just explaining to you. Another great episode was about OPEC and like the explaining to you like the Middle East and why they have so much oil reserves and all this kind of stuff. History 101 on Netflix, man. It's half-hour shows, and it, like I said, it reminds me of like a weird, like you ever just go and watch like random YouTube videos, then you go to another YouTube video and you oddly like learn something random, and you're like, look at this crap, like holy, did you know that? Like, yeah, it's that kind of vibe, and I really dig it. I was a big fan of History 101 on Netflix. Check it out if you get a chance.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, BB, it's right up your alley.
That first episode on fast food, I was like, ooh, it was fun. It was good. So
Really
All right,
well done
so-
documentary. Well, really well done.
Before we get to the next one, just want to say I did watch the Patton Oswalt stand-up that you guys already watched. Big thumbs up to that, just like you guys said. So, Bill, you also watched another stand-up. You beat me and Charles here this week for stand-ups. What did you watch, Bill?
Well, this was almost by accident. So we're flipping around Friday night, just looking for something to watch, and Abby sees this. She sees this new stand-up special from this lady named Hannah Gadsby, and she had seen a previous special that she'd had where weird that what she told me about the first one is that for about 3/4 of it she's absolutely hilarious, and then at the very end she goes into this rant, and it was so kind of disturbingly, it was serious. She said, "Yeah."
Is it a political rant, or what is the rant?
Sort of. I don't know, because I haven't seen the other one. I forget exactly what she said it was about, but basically it was because she was to the point where she liked it enough that she was looking to see when this, if she was touring, maybe we'd go see her or something. And
I've never even heard of her.
Yeah, then she saw the whole thing at the end, and she's like, "Yeah, you'll know." Her thought was, "Well, you'll never go." So I said, "All right, we'll give this a try." So the special's name was Douglas, and it didn't start off. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background. So she is an Australian woman. She's a lesbian. She's kind of, not nothing like, she's got short hair, glasses, kind of. I thought she was wearing a men's suit. She wasn't, but it's just she's kind of, frumpy, whatnot. But then she tells you very early on that she's autistic. And so she proceeds to give you like a sort of brief preview of what the show is going to be in the show. And she keeps kind of downplaying this won't be funny at all. This some of you will think is hilarious. So she goes on, but she's throwing in little shots, and it's not like cerebral in the sort of like the way that you would take someone that's like Bill Maher or someone would be. It's not like politically based, but real clever kind of shots. She starts kind of talking about things like the difference between U.S. and Australian words and how some of them make really huge differences and a problem. And then one crazy story where she's talking about, she has this like some kind of a doll of a dog, like a stuffed dog or something on a stool. And she says, well, that Douglas is the name of her dog. And she talks about being at a dog park where some guy starts, talking to her, and then she explains why she named him Douglas. And it turns out that it's from this thing called the pouch of Douglas, which is essentially like, okay, it's the inner cavity between the rectum and the uterus in the female. It's essentially like an internal taint.
Okay.
But the thing is she's throwing out real clever shots, and so it's quirky. It's one of those things that, Steve, I don't think you'll probably like at all.
It sounds awful.
And there's a 50-50 chance Charles, you'll either really like it or you'll think it's completely horrible.
Oh, wow.
I thought she was funny enough, and the jokes that she told in one, it was really kind of clever, and so I liked it. I'd probably give it a 7.
Jeez, I gotta check this out. I don't know, an autistic
it's
Australian lesbian. I got this.
It goes on this long rant about where she's just taking shots at how stupid golfers and then she goes off on the anti-vaccine trend. The anti-vax people. But
Okay.
yeah, it was different, very different from any stand-up I've ever seen. But it was funny.
How did Abby consume the first one that she caught? How did she find? I've never heard of this woman before.
I think she saw it on Netflix.
Is it a Netflix thing? I've never even heard of it.
I guess because what she'll do is she loves stand-up. So when I'm not around, she'll watch all the stand-up. There's almost no stand-up on Netflix she hasn't seen. She'll watch, and she'll go find the ones that she thinks I won't like, and she'll just watch them if I'm not around. And then if she thinks I like them, she'll tell me about them. But we only really watch certain ones together. And so when she saw this, and she's like, well, do you mind if we watch it? I said, oh, okay.
Who knew a girl that barely laughs loves stand-up?
She actually laughs a lot, just, not around other people.
If I was married to BB, I wouldn't laugh that much either.
I'd be really curious what you think about it. because I think it could go either way with you, Steve. I think you'll probably think it's the most stupid thing you've ever
I gotta
seen.
check it out. I'm gonna do some homework. I'm gonna do a BV retro review next week. I gotta do that for sure.
All right, so Mortal Kombat is good, but overpriced. Jeffrey Epstein is too long, but it's a 7.
So is Steve's
Space
Too long, but you hung on every second.
I'm telling you,
Space
man.
For-
I
Space
feel like
Force
it's higher than a
needs
7, damn.
Yeah.
Space Force needs some tweaking for the second season. Charles gives it a 4. I give it a 5. History 101 has some really quirky things. Very good to watch. I forgot what you give. What'd you give it?
I'd give that like an 8. I'm that entertained
Charles
by
gave
it.
it an 8.
Yeah.
And Bill saw a autistic lesbian stand up, Hannah Gadsby Douglas,
Dude.
and he gives it a 7. Curiosity's got the best.
Dude,
of it
we
now.
all gotta watch this.
And I'm going to do the same
family
thing that
viewing
Charles is
party.
doing for History 101 because that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, History 101's cool.
I love the fast food one. I thought it was great. All right, so there we go. There's some of the reviews. Now, funny, that's a lot of Netflix. And then what's new to watch this week is all on local stations.
Yeah.
The problem with me is everything switches.
We broke out like a 1950s living room picture.
Sleep with the beaver. Everything switches to reality shows and competitions and game shows at this point on regular TV. So Big this week came out. I didn't watch it. Anyone else watch it? America's Got Talent.
I did. I watched it. We watch it quite a bit in this house. It was before the pandemic hit that this was filmed. It was normal, except for Simon Cowell. He looks like he weighs about 95 pounds and looks frail. It's the weirdest thing. You ever see a dude who like diets so much that they lose any like ability to like look like they can move anything? He's just that frail looking. They say he dieted or something like that. It just looks weak. It's the weirdest thing to see.
You know who else looks like that? The guy from Parks and Rec that played Lisa Nope's boyfriend.
Yeah, he
husband.
looks creepy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he lost a lot.
Where it's
too.
like, dude, I mean, at some point, did you move any weight? I mean, what's going on? Like, you could get in there and do a couple curls or something, man. It's just, it's unbelievable. I mean, you're going to be...
I'm seeing the pictures now. He looks like a POW.
Yeah, it's so, like, it's just like he's so weak and frail looking. It's like, dude, I could pick you up and throw you. I don't know, man.
Yet he still smokes.
Yeah, of
Was
course.
he ever tubby in the first place?
He wasn't tubby, but he was like a normal, thicker dude,
Yeah.
and he changed something in his diet. I don't know if he went all vegan or something, man. He needs protein. Stat. Dude, give him them Swedish fish, Steve. He's got to eat, man. I don't know what's going on. It's distracting.
What were your thoughts of the girl from Modern Family?
Sofia Vergara. Okay, so here's the problem. I have a bit of a crush on Mel B. I find her crazy and oddly hot at the same time because she's a crazy woman, dude. Let's be real. Mel B's got issues, all right? But anyway, she was also very entertaining. But I think that the reason why Simon Cowell can be so good on these shows is you got to be honest a little bit. Not everything can be just amazing. And Sofia Vergara is to that point where like, oh, I love you. And like all the time. It's like, okay, like, can we get a little bit of honesty if you're bored or you're not into it as much? You know what I mean? But again, I don't know how going forward, how they do the live shows. We've talked about this a couple weeks now, like last week and this week. I'm curious to see what that show looks like in a few weeks when they run out of canned auditions. Like, what are they going to do? So,
they're going to stretch those canned auditions out quite a while.
Yeah, they're going to have to. But I tend to like America's Got Talent. I'm a big Simon Cowell fan. I just think he needs protein powder or something immediately. He's not normal. I don't know, man.
Now, my wife and daughter did watch the debut show, and they felt that the homeless people got a little bit of a pass automatically because of their story, that they weren't all that great.
Did you see the guy who was in jail for 37 years and then got DNA released? I got to tell you, man, that's compelling shit, man. You lost 37 years of life? Like, what do they do in that scenario? Like, dude, oops, our bad. Have a good life for the rest of the years you got. That's unbelievable,
enjoy some McDonald's,
man. I could not even imagine losing 37 years of life and just being in jail. Oh, my God.
So also this week, now that Charles brought us all down.
Yeah, sorry, but man.
World of Dance Season 4. This is J-Lo and the one dude. Anybody watching World of Dance? Bill, I know you're a dance fan.
Okay, no? the only dance show I can remember ever watching was the new dance show, and that's just to laugh at like the lines, you know,
You mean Soul Train?
Well, there was like a ghetto one of them called New Dance Show.
Oh, okay.
Or it was like a more kind of local thing.
Oh.
And then towards the end of it, they'd have one of those big lines where people would take turns going down and doing their crazy dances going in. And it was fun. Yeah, it was. But no, I'm not watching.
Who watches all these dance? Does Michelle watch these dance shows? Who watches these dance shows?
She likes the one with that British guy that's a judge. It's on Fox a lot. I don't know the name of that one.
Man. I don't know.
This one with J-Lo, she doesn't watch that much, but that one on Fox she does watch. Next also came out this week, very low ratings actually. This is Rock's game show. Titan Games is back for season 2. Does anybody care? Anybody watch it? I'm not.
So we've chronicled on this show. I have a weird affinity towards strongman. I love it, dude. You get strongman out, I'm into it. You break out a Husafell stone, I'm oddly going to watch them walk with a Husafell stone. I love it. I can't. There's something about it. I found Arnold at an obscenely young age and was just like, I love it. Pumping iron is one of the best things ever. This show is, and again, The Rock is one of the most lovable, likable people on the planet. You got to root for this guy. This just, I don't know, man. This show is just, it's one of those
watched
shows.
it? Chump.
Yeah, and then I'm watching it and I'm going, why am I here? I got again, dude. Just give me
like
some
a bad American Gladiator.
Yeah, it's not even like it's like American Gladiator meets Strongman, but like, it's just not. It's so overproduced, and it's just Rock. I love you, man. I do. Strongman, love you. You know what I mean? This one is just off base for me. I'm not into it. Avoid Titan Games. It's not good.
I assume, Bill, you didn't watch Titan Games either?
You know, I watched it. I watched a couple episodes last season, and it just didn't do it for me. So I cut it off pretty quick.
They try to pull at the heartstrings of like the background stories of these people a lot.
I hate that.
Yeah, dude, I just want to see an animal move a log that most people can't. I'll pull up a 747, I'm into it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't want to get emotionally invested.
Yeah,
in playing on this game show.
You could be a complete dirtbag in real life, but like I said, you break out a log carry, I'm into it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
All right, so that one, not so good. Now, this one was a weird one. I think it came out this week. This is like Double Dare meets Fear Factor with adults. This is Rob Gronkowski and one of the Williams sisters. They compete in weird games, and they have celebrity friends each week to come and help them. And it looks like Double Dare and Fear Factor had a baby for adults. I did not watch this. I saw the trailer for it. Why Rob Gronkowski has to show up every other day on my TV, I have no idea. This looks terrible. Any one of you guys interested in watching this?
I watched it.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was pretty damn funny.
Oh, wow.
I liked it quite a bit. I will continue to watch it.
Whoa.
Please explain. Did I sum it up right, or is it different?
I don't know about the fear factor part of it. There is the physical challenge part that's kind of like Double Dare. They had the one actual real physical challenge was they had Gronk, and I'm trying to think the basketball, J.R. Smith, the guy that used to play for the Cavaliers. So they were a team. So Venus had a team, and Gronk had a team, and Gronk had some guy I didn't really know, and frickin' Gabriel Iglesias. And then Venus Williams had someone, and then some other kind of like heavy comic. I've seen him before, but I can't remember his name. Funny guy. The one physical challenge is that they had this. They put J.R. Smith and Gronk in helmets that had these little spikes on them, and they got on stationary bikes, and they had to keep it above like 100 RPM as long as possible. And every time it dipped down, this water balloon big water balloon would kind of start to drop down towards them, and then whoever had the water balloon pop first lost. And so, yeah, it was kind of interesting. But there are a lot of little one-liners.
Not BV.
You're talking about
the water balloon
bicycle one?
Yeah.
Gronk won it.
It's like minute to win it. It's not even Fear Factor.
Gronk won it, and then he popped his head up, and he popped the balloon too because it was really close. So he ended up getting soaked. A lot of there were things like questions. There were goofy questions and whatnot.
BV needs sports so bad. Right?
He can make the key and the other guy from the other comedian, the non-Gabriel Iglesias comic, went and had to try field goals at the Rams, field during a game last year, so you thought it was taped like last season. But it was funny enough that the game show concept wasn't great, but it was entertaining.
Isn't there
I
another
don't know
like?
if you guys watch this or not, but what's also out too?
It's Holy Schmoly or whatever that is.
Holy moly!
Holy moly!
Yeah,
or whatever.
it's like kind of extreme
Dude.
putt-putt.
It's weird because they don't do like the whole match. Like they show highlights of random parts of the match on that Holy Mo. At least they did the couple episodes I saw. I don't know.
Well, they do. They only do like they have a challenge in one hole to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, it was like Wipeout meets
Rob Riggle makes that show.
Dude,
Yeah.
go to the
He's
Indian
hilarious.
casino, get some juice in your life. BB needs the juice. He's just, dude, go online, bet on marble racing like John Oliver talked about.
None of this is like actual sports at all.
I'm just saying, but you have a hole in your life, BB, and I'm trying to help you. You need to fill it because this hole is making you make some bad choices. Is all I'm saying. BB's watching Holy Moly game on. Just hoping for some sports juice. BB's like, I need something.
Almost as bad as some fat asshole watching Jeffrey Epstein for 4
Dude,
hours.
I'm telling you, BB needs that juice, baby.
I mean, if you liked it, it did look like adult Double Dare to me what I saw. But it looks like in future episodes they have him up in the rafters and doing random. That's why I thought the Fear Factor part comes in.
No,
I don't know. I saw
they're gonna balance lifesavers on toothpicks coming up in a couple weeks. BB's gonna be like, "Come on, baby! I got 20 on you, you cocksucker! Let's go."
Yeah. Well, also this week, I think this coming week, the game night thing comes back. If you remember that, no Pressure Lux coming back. All those celebrity family.
Are you guys like me? Apparently, BB's. I end up watching these shows, going, "Why the fuck am I watching this right now?"
I don't watch it. Michelle will watch it. And I walk in while she's watching them. And I go, "What do you want?" When she does turn off Food Network, she puts on these game shows. So there we go. So that's a look at what to watch this week. We'll see what we can find next week. More game shows, more reality shows, because it's summertime. But we will get basketball and hockey coming, right? So that should be coming in July. So you still got a whole month of June with nothing. But and baseball.
So what did basketball end up with? Are they going to Orlando? Is that what's going on?
I believe so, and then they're doing a playoff, automatically right into the playoffs. Is that what you heard, Bill, or did you hear differently?
I haven't really paid attention this week, so I
He's been too busy watching Game On.
Give it a shot.
It's just funny, that's all.
All right,
I'm sure
Charles,
it's great.
Who's getting punched in the face? And is Fight Island connected to Sex Island with Jeffrey?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'll check your book report later to find out if it is.
They might be the same.
You
island.
might have the latitude and longitude of weird Sex Island. I'm sure in your book report. So there was a UFC event last night. The main event was a guy named Gilbert Burns, who's actually putting it on pretty good. They fought Tyron Woodley. Took a big loss and lost the title, so he was the number one contender, and he'd been hurt a little bit, and they came back, and he got his face stomped in again. So, and I talk at length to you guys over and over again about how I am totally entertained by the fact that they want certain people to win, and it never happens. And here it is again. No one told Gilbert Burns, "Oh, by the way, Tyron Woodley's supposed to win this," because this crazy Brazilian went out there and beat the brakes off Tyron Woodley. This took place in the UFC Apex Center, which is that center Steve talked about in Vegas. So they got the go-ahead from Las Vegas. The cool part was I'm into like not necessarily the Ultimate Fighter where there's no crowd, but like when you get these two camps and you get these coaches in the corner. There's a guy named Dean Thomas who was in the corner of Tyron Woodley, who was just being able to hear the audio of these cornermen at times is super interesting. I don't know. I'm actually leaning towards I kind of enjoy no crowd because you get like that actual mic'd in what's going on and you can hear him like, "Dude, you're losing, dog." You know what I mean? Like he's point blank telling him like, "You got to put it out there." Like, and it was just crazy to see and to hear like point blank, like his coaches are like, "Look, man, go for broke, dude. You're over if you don't." You know what I mean? Like it was super cool. And I'm just into that. That's kind of happening. There's some good prelim fights of some randos that I don't want to go too deep into right now that happened. Also, UFC 250 is taking place next Saturday at the Apex Center. That's that Amanda Nunes, Felicia Spencer fight. I'm not getting this. I think BV should. He should turn off Game On and get this because BV needs some sports. But I think that it's just the card is kind of not as compelling as that last one that I was super stoked on. This one just has Cody Garbrandt and Neil Maney as two other names that were kind of in the previous part or earlier part of the card. Not as stacked of a card, so I would say kind of avoid this one is what I would tell you. I'm not a big Amanda Nunes fan. I don't like the Lioness and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not in Steve's camp of like anti-chick fighting all the way around. I just tend to not like Amanda Nunes. The other thing that was kind of funny too, Dana White had 5 COVID-19 tests in the lead up to this freaking event. He's the most COVID-19 tested person on the planet.
How big are his nostrils?
Dude, there's saliva swabbing him is how they're doing him now. But I couldn't imagine.
He's taking the weak way out.
Yeah.
Side note, Michelle's getting the one up her nose this Wednesday.
Oh, wait, so the antibody test or?
Just to see if she has it or not. It's not antibodies. They're putting the swab to touch your brain with the swab.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Dana White, the most COVID-19 tested person you'll ever see. So anyway, UFC is pretty good. So anyway, I just want to bring that up.
I know you didn't want to get into the undercard too much, but that Quarantillo and Spike Carrel.
Oh, so you watched? Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched all of it.
Oh, look at BV. All right, cool. Yeah. So did you see when Gilbert? Yeah, that was a crazy fight for a prelim fight. And then did you see the Gilbert Burns put it on Tyron Woodley the whole time? Did you watch the whole thing? Yeah,
I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
And was this on ESPN Plus?
I watched the replay.
All on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
I watched the replay the next day on demand because it's up past my bedtime sometimes.
All right, so there you go. Dana White tested more than anybody on Earth. So we got a review this week. Now, I caught wind last week that if you have HBO, which I do, I have it on my regular cable because my wife still wants to watch that weird Mark Ruffalo miniseries.
Is that any good, by the way?
She's very lukewarm. She won't say she hates it,
man.
but she's so lukewarm.
Did you let her know that he's done nothing successful outside the Marvel universe?
Well, this miniseries is proving my point. She said it's terrible.
Isn't it like he's got like a twin or something weird? It's a weird premise. Yeah.
And at one point, his twin cuts his hand off. Like he has no hand, just got a nub, no knucks. So HBO Max, I signed up. All you had to use was my AT&T login. I got it free. I downloaded it on my Xbox and took a look. Do you guys like TBS or TNT and what? Do you like watching old TV shows and movies on there? That's all this service is. It's
all backlog garbage.
It should be called HBO. You probably saw it.
So your credentials worked. Your login credentials for your AT&T service worked for it, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I got to check it out. I haven't.
So but you have to be subscribed to HBO.
Yeah. We are through DirecTV now. Yeah. So
literally, it's old movies, it's old TV, it's old HBO. There's 6 new things on here, and we covered it last week. And out of the 6 things, the only thing I found remotely entertaining were the Looney Tune cartoons. They're about 12 minutes each, about 2 cartoons each 12 minutes. I watched one with Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam, one with Tweety Bird, and so I like the Looney Tunes. But am I going to pay $15 a month to watch that? Probably not. But I mean, if you really love Friends, or if you really love old Harry Potter movies or Time Warner movies, The Wizard of Oz, then this is the streaming service for you. I'm really stretching here.
Dude, I'm way into Wizard of Oz. You guys have no idea.
I'm down with Dorothy.
I can't get enough of that Scarecrow. I watch it weekly.
Now, I will say, if you love HBO shows, though, but if you love Sopranos, you love... Curb Your Enthusiasm, Deadwood, they're all on there. Every HBO show is on there. But there's weird omissions, right? So there's a DC Comics section.
Oh, Jesus. Strap in, BB. Strap in.
None of the Christian Bale Batmans are on there.
Okay, who do we complain to about this? I guarantee you some other service has the streaming rights for now. It's just like the Disney Plus stuff where
Is the original one with Michael Keaton on there?
Yeah, that's serious.
That's enough. Batman. The one Batman.
there's and they have different content too. They have the Cartoon Network channel. There's Studio Ghibli, I think it is. That's that
weird anime.
Yeah. So there's DC. So they have some stuff, but I'm telling you, if you guys can find something new to watch on there, I'll be shocked because
I wonder. So I have the HBO Go apps on my. I gotta log in. So Did your Go app just become the Max app? I'm just curious.
I never logged into HBO Go because I just have it on my thing. So.
Okay.
You go to the HBO Max website and then just try to log in. That'll let you know right there.
Okay.
So if you already have HBO, it's fine. You can watch some Looney Tunes or some old movies. But if I was going to pay $15 or $16 a month for this, no way. There's no way impossible. I'm not. No. There's nothing on there. And the Seth Rogen pickle movie doesn't come out until August. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, dude, he's pickled. He falls in the. I can't wait for the Seth Rogen pickle movie.
They don't even get that till August. So.
Oh man, that's going to be a required watching for all three of us, gentlemen. We got to be able to talk about the pickle movie. He falls in the pickle movie.
Most of these streaming networks, when they start off, they have nothing. And if you're a huge fan of Friends, then maybe this is your cup of tea. But I could care less.
Do they have 4K and all that kind of stuff? Do you got like an up-res, like how Disney Plus did 4K stuff? Is there?
I think it just automatically adjusted whatever resolution your TV was.
I'm saying, like, did they up-res Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz or anything
I didn't
like that?
watch Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz.
Okay. I don't know.
But I did. What did I watch? I didn't watch much. I watched Looney Tunes. They came out with it's 2D cartoons, so it's kind of hard to tell if it's. I mean, they got Joker and Suicide Squad, and like I said, but it's Chernobyl's on there. I might watch Chernobyl. I never did that.
You never watched that? That was a great miniseries. Did you check that out at all?
No, I meant to and didn't get to it.
Yeah, that's a great miniseries.
Yeah.
You guys, man, if you took notes at Jeffrey Epstein, watch Chernobyl, man. Holy crap.
So Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is on there.
Okay, you watch Why Don't He Love Me, Uncle Phil? You can watch that episode. Fire that up. Stream that up right now. Fire that
up. The Wire's on there.
Well, The Wire's HBO. Yeah.
They got Boardwalk Empire, right?
Boardwalk Empire's HBO. Should be on there.
That's another one that I just never watched.
Dude, Nucky, dude, you never watched it? It's a pretty good show. Yeah, it's a good show.
Entourage, Leftovers. Yeah, they're all on here.
Was Entourage any good? I saw the movie, but I never watched any of the shows.
Yeah, I was on with Steve. It's kind of like, if it's on and stuff like that and you haven't seen it before, it can be compelling. You're like, let me check this out.
Imagine it's probably a little dated at this point, but it was okay when I saw it. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just the channel. It's like TBS, the streaming network, because it's just old crap you've seen 100 times and nothing really new. I guess if you're really into those Japanese animated movies, that'd be something new. Cartoon Network.
I wonder, like I said, so I catch my John Oliver the day after it airs.
He's on here. But
I wonder if I have to get it through the HBO. And speaking of that, too, I got my stick. Do you guys watch John Oliver at the regular bit? Did you see this bit on the Postal Service, Steve? Did you watch that at all? I got his sticker or his stamps.
You got the John Oliver
the Chi-John stamps and all that stuff, dude. Mr. Nutter Butter and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it says "and now a stamp." It's backward or whatever because lovely Skype. But yeah, I ordered them because I just can't get enough John Oliver, man. I love that guy. That show is one of the best shows on TV, hands down.
Yeah. So, and like I said, there's 6 shows. We covered them: Love Life, Legendary, Elmo at Night. I mean, it's all crap.
Great.
So, unless you just love to reminisce about old shows, it's not worth it. So that's HBO Max. And Charles, what is Mr. Landscaper?
Yeah. So and again, Bergeron tune out because I just thought this was funny. So again, my wife's got a pretty extensive garden area in the back, and we've done a bunch of stuff with that. So I actually got this crazy for $25, right? If you had like a big planter up front of your house and you don't want to run a big major sprinkler system and all this kind of stuff, this Mr. Landscaper kit for like $25 allows you to put these little mini sprinklers kind of underneath individual plants and run this black tubing. And then it will just do like a low pressure drip system for like each one. So like in her garden beds or wherever, where she has a bunch of like, whether it be like all these different plants and all this kind of stuff, you can just kind of pinpoint where the plants are. And then I just put like a hose hook up and then it just drips to where it needs to be. And then you could just kind of water that way. I just thought this was a really cool little system. And for $25, if you had like on the front of your house, like Michelle tends to like do like a lot of like bigger planters and stuff like that next to your guys' porch and stuff, you could, like, in those individual areas, just put like individual sprinklers that will hit those areas, as opposed to wasting a bunch of water, like watering a bunch of the soil you don't have to. And like I said, for $25, the whole kit came with like 6 different sprinklers, all the little hookups that you needed and stuff. It just seemed like a really good value for something I never kind of went down this rabbit hole until this past week, and I was just really impressed by it. And that's all. I just wanted to bring it up here to tell you, if you're into, like, if your wife plants like a handful of plants up front and stuff like that, pinpoint water those so that you're not wasting a whole bunch of water charging up that bill. It'll pay for itself real quick.
I see the video on it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. And like I said, you pinpoint it to little areas. And like I said, for $25, it was pretty dirt cheap. So that's what the biggest thing to me. I thought that system would be, like you hear like irrigation systems, and it's always like, oh, how much is sprinkler systems and all this kind of stuff. But like if you had a nice bed next to your porch or something like that, you could juice it all up for like $20-$30 and have everything where you needed it to, and just water the lawn. So that's one of my homeowner tips of the week.
And then you chucked the Chromecast out the window?
Yeah, so much like you guys talked about with your PC reviews.
For the record, I don't want it back.
Dude, I'm telling you. So I go down to like work out in the morning or whatever, and again I put on the little workout TV in the basement. I've been having a good time working out at the house. I'm definitely doing all that going forward. I got to spend like 5-10 minutes of my workout wrangling with this stupid Chromecast to just throw on ESPN. It's incredibly infuriating. I cannot tell anyone enough. So I paid $39 for a 4K Fire Stick. It's the same price as a Chromecast. Take this Chromecast and shove it up someone's ass. I've never seen. It's the most useless device I've ever seen in my life.
That is actually the next challenge on Game On.
Yeah, dude, shoving Chromecast. Dude, oh my God. That's the only thing you need to do with that. I'm telling you, man. So I'm going to have a 4K Fire Stick. I'm not going to jailbreak it and do all those crazy things that a lot of people do. I've got tons of Alexas in my house. I'm way into the Amazon ecosystem and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to put a Fire Stick on it. It's got built-in memory. God, that Chromecast it is so useless. God, it is a useless device, man. Infuriating.
It's an extension of your phone is all it really is.
Yeah, dude, and it wouldn't sync right. It just was a nightmare. So I'll have, much like you guys we'll have a big tech review next week with your PCs, you guys talking about that, and then I'm going to bring up the Fire Stick because I'm going to run it through its paces. So
I thought you already had one.
No, it's coming tomorrow. I ordered it from Best Buy. I couldn't do the pickup thing that you guys were describing, so I just had it shipped to the house. They wouldn't do the weird pickup thing for it.
All right, so there we go. HBO Max, a bunch of reruns. Mr. Landscaper, if you want to water your stuff without spending thousands on an irrigation system. And a Chromecast, still tongues balls. So let's go to the news. First up, I know Bill is on the edge of his seat for a new Indiana Jones movie starring 82-year-old Harrison Ford. Well, it's going to happen. Oh, man, Last Crusade was such a good movie.
Gee, I know. And then everything thereafter has been a complete abortion. Can we stop?
Indiana Jones 5.
BB agrees as he's nodding. What do you think, BB?
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yeah, dude. That Shia LaBeouf one was so bad. Ugh.
Yeah, either stop or reboot it with a new actor and do something else.
But he won't let it go. He's oddly holding him hostage with it, right?
Don't reboot it. Just let it end.
Yeah.
Well, that
Can't it just be... Why do we always have to ruin these franchises with, superfluous, episode 96 and
have you
back for more cash? Doesn't matter how bad it sucks.
You must not watch a lot of movies, BB. You don't know about Hollywood and how it works.
They all do.
Yeah,
I don't watch a lot of movies, and that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, it is because to BB's point is his background. Last Crusade is an epic movie. Temple of Doom, epic movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark, epic. Crystal Skull or whatever that turd sandwich was just the worst.
Yeah.
And so when you put this on here, I was just like, okay, great. We're back to the well, to BV's point. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
So they interviewed the future director, James Mangold. Now, James Mangold directed the movie Logan with Hugh Jackman.
People are high on that movie, I would argue.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a good movie. So he was talking about he's trying to find the heart of the movie. I don't know, but given the company line bullshit, I don't know, man. 70-something-year-old Harrison Ford running around. I think
using a walker for this, or
I mean, I might be in agreement with you guys. Maybe
I
let
think
it go.
that the original, it's that usual conversation that we sound old and curmudgeon-y about. But like the weird swashbuckling practical effects of the original Indiana Jones movies are just so good. You know what I mean? And like now, Raiders of the Lost Ark at the very end was a little cheesy with the ghost setup and all that kind of stuff. But like for the most part, like just the pure Jesus, what the hell was that, Steve?
The hillbillies are home next
Oh
door.
my God. Oh, that was terrifying. But somehow these new movies just kind of lose that. I don't know, man. So if you guys were to cast a new Indiana Jones and do a reboot, besides Chris Pratt, give me someone you would do.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper's a good one. I think that's another good one. BV, you got any other names?
no?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper's a good one. I think he's got enough of that sly talkiness to him that's pretty good.
Yeah. And just because Chris Pratt's in everything else. You know who they'll cast? Tom Holland. That's who they'll cast. It'll be someone who'll be like,
Scrawny Indiana Jones. It was like, whatever.
Yeah. He 5'2" Indiana Jones come walking in. So just in Bill's point of beating a dead horse, Labyrinth sequel is in the works. Now, Labyrinth was made by the Jim Henson Company with David Bowie and all them, if you remember that from our childhood. Someone with the Jim Henson Company is shopping this around. There might be a Labyrinth sequel.
The Dark Crystal came back, and they hit pretty good with the Dark Crystal on the Netflix stuff. So obviously they're trying to go back to the well.
Yeah, but Bill, did you watch the Labyrinth back in the day?
I don't know Labyrinth.
I think it's one of the most overrated 80s movies ever.
Dude, I don't know, it's not too bad. It's got Rob Gronkowski in it, and they're doing a bunch of
But it's like Never Ending Story, Goonies, what was some of the other ones in the 80s? There's so many up top, and then
Time
Labyrinth
Bandits.
yeah, Time Bandits. And Labyrinth is way at the bottom for me. So I was the Willow. Even Willow's better than Labyrinth. Yeah, but so there you go. Dead Horse from the 80s getting revived. And next up, I'm not sure what this is on. Bill's thoughts exactly. This is like the Rob Gronkowski show, actually. It's Star Wars game show for kids. I think it's coming to the StarWars.com. It's not actually coming to TV. Basically, they set up little obstacle course for kids, and they do Jedi things and hit things with lightsabers and stuff, and whatever. I don't know. Now, the real question is, though, would an 8-year-old Charles want to go on a Star Wars game show?
I guess if I was 8, sure. I don't know. This sounds terrible. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you.
If you click the link, it'll show you a clip of it.
I don't want to click on that link. I don't want to give any more views. I'm good.
Now, after we watched Space Force, I started wondering, what are some of the better comedies on Netflix? And come to find out, coming June 12th, 4th season of F is for Family. Probably the best comedy on Netflix.
I love this show. This is one of the funniest shows on Netflix. I love Bill Burr. I love the way that show's written. It's so honest and just real. I love F is for Family. I will watch this day one. I'll bang that season out in a day. I love that show.
So if you click the link, there is a trailer connected to it.
She's pregnant at the end of the last season, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of cussing, a lot of
so
dad
good.
issues.
God, it's so good.
It looks great.
BV, you watch F is for Family?
I've never seen it.
Oh, so funny. God, it's so good.
As far as comedy shows on Netflix, it's probably the top one. Can anyone think of a better comedy show on Netflix?
No,
I mean, I
that
really
show's
can't.
great. F is for Family's fantastic.
Oh, okay. I usually don't jump on animated shows.
It's animated only because they just can't act it out, basically. But it's a 1970s family. It's just so funny. Bill Burr's the dad. This show's great. It should be on Fox with the rest of the Bob's Burgers and Family Guy and all that.
But they cuss too much.
Yeah, that's the problem. But man, it's when he lost his job and he was doing the vending machines. That show is great, man. F is for Family. Big thumbs up. Can't wait. June 12th, I'll be sitting there watching that show.
If you get a chance, watch the trailer. I think you'll love it.
Show's so good.
He goes to Lamaze with his wife. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
It's so funny.
So that's it, and it comes out right around the week of Father's Day, so perfect timing for them with F is for Family. So that'll wrap us up with the news. Dead horses being beat all over the place, a bad Star Wars game, and F is for Family is coming back. Anything else you guys want to share? Are we about done here?
What do you got, BV? How's work going? How's quarantine going? How's lockdown?
Well, I mean, it's fine, although we still work more now than we did when we were in the office. They've pushed us back through the end of June, definitely, and they're telling us that when they start to send people back to the offices, they're going to do it on a priority basis on who needs to be there. We're being told the absolute earliest we'll probably end up back in the office is August, maybe later. And then when they do that, they're going to only put 25% of the teams in at a time. They're doing this across the board, so not just for legal. So when I do go back, it's going to be, from what I understand, 1 week in the office, 3 weeks at home.
Jeez.
But they say they're still moving us to Chicago. Which
do you have any issue with working from home? Is there anything you're missing that's from home at all?
I mean, I don't have like the ability to scan and print a ton of documents at one time. I mean, I have a printer, but I don't. And I have a scanner, but it's like one of those.
Old
my
school,
scanner,
yeah,
one of those
singular,
all-in-one things. I can only do like it feeds real slow, and it really can't do very many things. But other than that, no, it's pretty much the same. We're kind of paperless anyway for the most part, so I don't. But it's just a matter of it kind of sucks though because you're.
You need camaraderie of the office.
I like it sometimes. Like a day or 2 a week's fine, but literally you get up in the morning. I get myself kind of going, and then I'm right in front of the computer. I'm working. Then by the time I get done, the rest of my life in lockdown is steps away. There's not like a real break. Everything starts to just kind of mesh together. Yeah. If I'm not paying close attention, I'll forget what day it is.
How many miles you put on the car during all this? Like, what do you got?
It's weird because that first week or so, week or two that I had the car, I drove out to hang out with you guys and stuff, and then I was doing other things. I put like 1,500 miles on it the first like 10 days I had the car. It just went over 3,000 over the weekend. And I've had it now for over 4 months.
Wow. I just was realizing I'll have had the Bolt a year in June. That's crazy. You know how much the tabs were on my freaking e-vehicle? Holy shit. $361 for the tabs. I was like, you bastards. It's all
hit me for $250. God, you got me beat.
Yeah,
I'm driving a giant truck.
They need to get that money that your gas supplements. Does that make sense? That's why they kill you on an e-vehicle registration. Crazy.
That's insane.
Did they overall change the law though, so the tabs are all a lot higher than they used to be?
I think that, like I said, I don't think you realize like every gallon of gas gives X amount of cents back to the state. So then you have to make up for that shortfall on your registration.
But if Steve paid $250,
it's based on his value. So his car is a combustion engine value. That's why it's $250. My car is an e-vehicle. It's not super expensive, but and then they gotta make up for that gas. I was like, dude, $360? I was like, God damn. All right.
All right, so that's going to do us this week. This is episode 99. Of course, you can catch us on fatguyslittlepodcast.com, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, all the good things. I got my new computer. I had to hook up my Spotify. I don't have that hooked up yet. The thing about a new computer, you're always hooking up new stuff or stuff you forgot about here and there.
Is there anything that's annoying you early hand about your new computer besides the extra disco-y lights that are with it? I'm
not a huge fan of the disco lights, and I had to buy an adapter for my Wacom tablet. I'm waiting for that to come.
What do you adapt it? You got to adapt it to a USB-C or something?
Wacom uses a DVI, and I need a display port. So I had to buy I had to screw another thing and thing. But it'll be here in a day or two, Amazon. Not as fast as it used to be, which is a little bit of a bummer. But that's about it so far. So I haven't found really much of anything else.
But that's tough if like you used it for work and stuff like that. That'd be kind of an annoying thing. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and the fact that no new computer has a disk drive anymore. I don't get that, but okay, and fine.
What are you still using physical media of? You still have physical media?
Yeah, when I drive to Family Video when they open back up and rent my movies.
Oh,
yes,
okay, yeah. So when you're burning your DVDs, but I'm just saying, like, who uses physical media anymore? Like, did someone give you like a 1.44 disc or something? Like,
You
here's
making
a
mix CDs? And stuff?
Steve's got his burner out. He's ready.
Well, Michelle does burn CDs for her work because they have an old CD player in their basement and they won't spend to get a better one. So her patients like to listen to music, so she takes her Quest, burns CDs, and then takes them to work. And so
in her time machine to the 80s.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, Doc Brown pulls up and asks for a CD.
She gets in the DeLorean and goes to work.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
she pulls out her Discman.
So, all right, for episode 99, that's going to wrap us up until next week when we have our tech talk with all our computers and fire sticks that everyone's going to be on the edge of their seat. Maybe I'll throw in a marker review just for Scott. I'll find some random.
You don't like
markers.
it, Bergeron? Don't tune in. There you go.
All right. Well, until next time, this is Steve and
Charles. We'll catch you next.